It all boils down to a sense of safety. And the reality is, if you have a child that is outside what you expect, or you've been told there's big wait lists, or you've been told that it's really hard to find a school that's going to be good for your child, then you are running on a sense of, I'm not safe, my child's not safe. So it's very hard to support your child to feel safe when you yourself don't feel safe either.
Elen Nathan is a sensory integration practitioner, and she's talking from experience. Elen supports kids who are neurodivergent, and supporting the kids also means supporting their parents. So Elen sees firsthand how destabilising the experience can be for parents. In this episode, I talk exclusively to Elen. In fact, this topic was her suggestion, based on a need she sees every day in her job. Parents who just don't know what to do next. Of course, everyone's situation is unique, and the challenges change over time. But Elen says there are universal principles, simple ones, that we can adopt to help ease the pressure on ourselves, our child, and on the rest of the family. And a quick word to anyone listening who right now is confused, exhausted, terrified, or just at a complete loss. My heart goes out to you. I get it. This can be a hard road. One podcast episode won't give you all the answers, but hopefully, at the very least, you feel heard. Neurodiversity. It's no longer a fringe conversation. For decades, neurodifferences have been framed as deficits. But now we're questioning that narrative. What if variation is part of the design? In Season 3, I look at the science, the systems, and the stories shaping what happens next, and the tools that can really make a difference. Kia ora, I'm Sonia Gray, and this is No Such Thing as Normal, Season 3. Let's begin where many parents start. Your child isn't coping. It's gone beyond just a phase, and you think you might need intervention. Elen Nathan says parents shouldn't be scared about exploring diagnosis, because it can be a pathway to support.
But not always. And sometimes you might get your diagnosis, and at the other end, there's not the support that you were hoping for, but at least you have some answers. But diagnosis can take a really long time.
Yeah.
In some places, the wait might be 6 months. In some places, the wait can be up to 4 or 5 years. So I think we need to be prepared for what are we going to do while we're waiting. And I think the biggest piece is just, as much as you can, gather your child and gather your people and start thinking, who do I want to listen to? What am I listening to that it feels like it resonates for me? Because you're going to get a lot of advice and it's not all going to be great. And sometimes you've got to kiss a lot of frogs to find the right person with the right advice. But you'll know, follow your gut.
It is hard though, isn't it? Because a lot of the people that are giving you advice that's not necessarily what you want are close to you, are family members, are friends, are part of your circle, your whānau, and that's difficult, isn't it? That often they just don't understand neurodifferences in kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You want to hold your relationships right, and you want to look after all the people around you, including your child. There can be lots of advice given and not all helpful, not all useful, and certainly a lot of it unwelcome. I think saying, getting ready with that safety sentence, you don't owe them anything. It's okay to say, thank you, no thank you. Or it's okay to say, I'm still collecting my people on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to take everything on board.
Yeah.
It's tiring. It's exhausting.
It is a lot
of advice.
It is exhausting. And it's not just the advice, it's the judgment and the bad parenting.
Yeah.
the bad parenting. We've come a long way with awareness around difference, but there's still a lot of judgment thrown at parents and at the kids themselves. I think part of that is an assumption that these challenges are predictable and easily fixable. For example, a child with anxiety or sensory sensitivities just needs mindfulness exercises, or a weighted blanket or a fidget toy. Now, I'm not saying these things can't help, but often they don't. So the parent feels like even more of a failure. But Elen Nathan says the narrative around this is changing.
The focus has historically been on the strategy. The focus now is on the person. So it's not about the weighted blanket. It's not about the fidget. It's about the person in front of you and what's going on for them in that moment, in their nervous system, and then the strategies are chosen based off their immediate need.
Well, the thing is, the really tricky thing is it is different for everybody, but it's also different for one person in different environments. My daughter can't handle sand. If she's happy and feeling safe, she could, when she was younger, she could run along sand. And so people were like, but you said she doesn't do sand and that's why you don't go to the beach. And so it's, you can understand why people don't believe it or think that, you sort of look at the kid as being kind of, I don't know, attention seeking or trying to get out of stuff or whatever.
Playing in the sand is not going to be a fun thing every day. If it's just rained, now we've got wet sand. If it's a Tuesday, well, I don't like it because I have a relief teacher at school on a Wednesday, so I'm pondering that all day Tuesday. Or it might be that the sand on the North Shore beach is very different to the sand at Kohimarama. It might be that those finite details of the shellfish that are part of the makeup of the sand change it from soft sand to sharp sand. And not everybody will understand that, and not everybody will experience that. All you need is for people to be empathetic, that the person in front of you is experiencing that way. It is their truth, therefore it is the truth, and our responsibility is to just ask the question, okay, this is hard for you, how can I help?
Beautiful. I love it. That just makes so much sense to me. A couple of things off the back of that. As a parent, there'll be parents listening that go, okay, that's great, Ellen, but how do I know? Like, I want to go to the beach with the whole family. I've got other kids. How do I know that Tuesday is going to not be the right day? Or, like, there's so much. Yeah. And I've got other kids to factor in and all these. Yeah. Any advice for that? I know it's difficult.
No, it is difficult. And it all boils down to a sense of safety. If your child feels safe with you, safe to say no thank you, safe to say maybe not today, then they're starting their communication with you. That might look like a refusal to get out of the car. That might look like a meltdown getting into the car. What we want for our children is some sort of communication, verbal or non, that they can show you that they don't feel safe, and then we respond to that. So again, it's not about the sand, it's not about the strategy, it's not about the event in front of you. It's about what can I do right now to increase your safety? And often that is just through regulating, relating, and then reasoning it through. So regulating with a child, they're frightened to get in the car, that's okay, just slow it down. Cuddles, connection, relating.
This is really interesting to me. So it's not necessarily about finding out what the trigger is, which we always did. It's about being there for them.
Yes.
And having that trust and helping them regulate, regardless of what it is. Ellen, this is quite a revelation to me because when my daughter was little, I spent all the time trying to work out what the triggers were and failing a lot of the time. Like, was it because I put the peas in that she wouldn't eat it this time, but she did last time? And you drive yourself insane. So what you're saying is actually put that to one side a little bit and just focus on being there and helping with the safety aspect, because the safety is what they're not experiencing.
You will exhaust yourself and you will burn yourself out really quickly if you're trying to find every trigger, because there's just too many. That's the reality. The experience of being neurodivergent is you feel a million more sensory inputs than everybody else. And even if it is the peas that you're trying to fix, it might be the fact that the seams in her socks are uncomfortable today. So you're fixing the peas, but the problem is also the socks. And it's also that you're wearing a new perfume and I don't understand who you are today. And it's also, and it's also, and it's also. So it's actually, as much as we want to reduce the sensory triggers, because we want to help and we want to do whatever we can, and that feels tangible and that feels like I can do something. I can create this plate of food the way that my daughter needs it, because my daughter needs to be fed and cared for, and this is what care looks like. But actually, it's a layer deeper than that. Whether it's the peas today or the socks, underneath all that is the sense of safety. And so if we can just come back to what's going to help you feel safe, how can I let you know that you are safe with me?
That I've got you.
I've got you. And it looks like peas today, and you are rearranging the peas on the plate. But what you really want your child to see is a parent that cares enough to notice that, yes, that is a problem for you, so we'll solve it, whatever that looks like.
I love that, because my theory of why there are very sensitive people, you know, it's an evolutionary thing, and from an evolutionary perspective, it's helpful to have people that are really sensitive, that can see and feel and touch more acutely than the average person. And so it's all about safety and survival. And so what you're doing as a parent is providing that we'll survive kind of a thing. We're safe. It's okay. I wish I'd known that, Ellen.
You probably were doing things that were giving all these cues for safety, because there's so many elements, whether you knew it in your head or whether you knew it in your heart, that you were just doing what you needed to do to try and create safety.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I think so. But I also was so exhausted from trying to pinpoint every little trigger and solve the problem and fix it, that I fell apart like so many parents do. And then my nervous system was not in a good place to co-regulate with my daughter. So advice for parents that are starting out on this is really just that safety, isn't it? For caring, being there, holding your child. And the other stuff is secondary.
I think the thing to understand is that safety is not an absence of danger. Safety is a felt sense of being safe. From the moment we're born, even before we're born in utero, we are scanning for safety. A baby in utero is responding to whether the uterus space is safe for them or not. So if mum is really stressed, then baby is feeling really stressed as well, right? So we're scanning for safety from before birth. Every human is scanning for safety 4 times every second, and it's automatic, it's just happening. And we scan for safety in 3 places. So we're scanning inside, outside, and in between. So safety in the in-between, which is between 2 people. Am I safe with this person? And are they giving me cues of safety? Which looks like not being panicked that there's something to solve. You know, when your child is crying and your first reaction is, what's wrong? They don't have that answer. So there's a rupture in safety there, because you are asking them to answer and solve it for them. So rather than even asking them what's wrong or what happened, sometimes it's just to gather up your child and give them a cuddle, and that's the best you can do. But as adults and as parents, we want to solve the problem or stop it from ever happening again. And we're up in our cortex going, I can solve this. How can I solve this? Whereas your little person just needs you down in your sensory system, hugging, rocking, soothing, doing all those lovely
giving all the messages that say, I've got this, we're good. Easier said than done, though.
Absolutely.
Easier said than done, because parents are human beings, often very tired ones. You will not always have the ability or the capacity to provide those cues of safety all the time. So if you can look at this as a reframing of the situation, a shift to being with rather than doing all the time. It is a process, and Ellen says this isn't just about the child struggling. The safety net has to be wide enough to include the whole family, the other children, but also yourself.
Safety starts with your own self, right? Do you feel safe?
Yeah.
So I work a lot with whānau, although I would think of myself as a paediatric specialist. A lot of the time the work needs to be done with the parents. So that pull-out model of therapy where you might drop your child off with me for an hour, I'm shifting away from that. And I think a lot of spaces are shifting a little bit away from that because the relationship between the child and the whānau is the most important relationship, not the therapeutic relationship between the child and the therapist.
Yeah.
So I work a lot with whānau, and I work a lot with, there's a whole generation of people that are late diagnosed because they didn't have access to these diagnoses. What we know now about sensory is really new. So we've got 30-year-olds going, actually, this is me. I can't cook food for my whānau because I can't touch raw chicken. I can't cook meat. I open the cupboard and I am so overwhelmed by food that I can't provide for my family. And then as their children get diagnosed or they hear more information, they think, actually, that's me.
Yeah. Food. It's vital for survival, but for many neurodivergent people, it can feel very unsafe. Back in episode 11 of this podcast, Elen Nathan unpacked the reason for this and challenged how we think about picky eaters. Have a listen if you want a deeper insight into sensory challenges. But let's quickly revisit the star of that episode, the humble chicken nugget, because it's a great example of how this primal need for safety extends to all aspects of daily life. For those who find the world overwhelming, the predictability of chicken nuggets can spell safety. This is why kids who really struggle with food will sometimes eat chicken nuggets every single night. But this is terrifying for parents because, well, where's the nutrition?
Look, for some people, highly processed food is the only way they're going to get food in. In the world of the chicken nugget, it's been pre-chewed, it's been broken down, which then makes it a simpler food for that person to eat. There is a lot of oral motor challenge for autistic people, for sensory people, for neurodivergent people. And so to have a food that behaves the same every time, looks the same every time,
Tastes the same every time, smells the same every time.
Yep, and some of the work has been done for you, well then yay. Eating the same foods just takes some of that executive functioning load off. So if it's ADHD, people will really struggle with just the executive functioning task of, what am I going to cook tonight?
And they have to think.
You have to think. You have to plan.
Yeah.
So actually, if you just come back to your 3 safe foods, you don't have to think so hard. You just go, job done, happy, safe. Because you've achieved somewhere else and you're doing things elsewhere. It's just about making life easy.
Yeah. It really comes down to the fact that, I'm really simplifying this, we're all different. So some people listening to that will be like, there is no joy in life from that. But you've got a really good point. If you're getting your joy elsewhere,
Yes.
and food is something that could go either way for you, I think anyone can have empathy for that when something is potentially unpredictable and can cause anxiety, it doesn't matter if sometimes it's nicer.
Yeah.
It's easier for it to be predictable.
Yes, absolutely. And you don't have to understand something to have empathy for another person, and you don't have to understand something to believe someone. There are people out there who really enjoy life being incredibly predictable wherever they can make it, and that's where they get their joys from. We don't need to pop psychology that and call it OCD or call it a life not lived well and take some guesses at how that person can't be well. They can be very well. You can eat less than 10 foods and be happy with your life. As a clinician in this space, the last 10 years has really been a shift away from that's wrong, that's different, that's weird, to asking the question, how is this for you? Are you okay with this? So if I had a parent that came to me and said, my child only eats 10 foods, my first question is, are you okay with that? My thoughts would be, okay, well, there's probably some stigma attached. So my question is this a problem for you? And I'm not going to assume it is, and I'm not going to assume how. I'm just going to check in. If they want some help, then we can give help to that. But some people, that's not their biggest problem. The help they want is for society to get off their back and stop making them feel bad for eating chicken nuggets every night. So let's respond to what the sensory systems knows is best for it so that we can get the protein in. Otherwise, if we keep worrying about where the protein's coming from, the kid's not going to eat it.
And we're prolonging this whole thing. We're making it worse because potentially I'm thinking if we go, this is fine for now, it might not be forever. And once we've created that safety around, 10 foods, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
There will be a point potentially where you could, maybe not, but for a lot of kids, you can start adding foods. And I had the child that ate Pizza Hut pizza every night, very expensive for 18 months, I think.
Yeah.
And you think this is going to be forever, and I am the worst parent in the world and sort of try and hide it from other people because it's just embarrassing. Now, eats like so many different foods.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily forever. It's just what she needed then.
Yeah. And I see that a lot. In the younger years, it's really hard. And as they get older and older, it gets easier and easier. Not overnight and not in 6 months. If you send your child to a therapist and they get 5 new foods in a week, I'd be worried because that's not sustainable. It's a short-term gain for a long-term loss. I'd be more worried that my child was being compliant than my child was responding with a sense of safety and knew that they were allowed to say no thank you. These things don't often change really fast. That's not what we're looking for. Development isn't fast. We can't rush our kids through development if they're still learning how to tolerate certain food textures, because that's what it boils down to. What does this texture feel like? What is the flavour like? When I combine these things together, is it overloading or not enough? The more experience we have eating where we feel safe, the broader our food range is generally going to become. Parents need permission to relax. They shouldn't need to have permission, but the reality is most of society is judging and most of society is blaming, and it is embarrassing, it is a stigma. But if we can all just understand that actually it's okay, and when the parent's allowed to just take a breath and breathe out for a minute, your child is going to be okay if you just say, if you want pizza, cool, let's get some pizza in. And then just chill out a little bit and they feel safe with you, then they will go on to eat more food. It's not that easy. It's not just going to magically happen, but it helps. What's not going to help is keeping your kid at the table, hiding food inside food, berating them.
Guilty.
Yeah, those things are not going to help.
No, it didn't. It didn't. But your intent is good, of course. You know, you're hiding the healthy food.
Yeah.
They taste everything.
Yes.
They sense everything.
Yes.
It's Princess and the Pea stuff.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's just very hard to parent at that point. But at a different time, they would have been revered for their ability to pick out a sesame seed. You know what I mean? It's just that sensitivity is phenomenal.
It's huge. The thing about our sensory system is that it is not static, it is dynamic. So our sensory systems are constantly changing to the stresses, good or bad, around us. So we've got that heightened sensitivity. We can notice the tiniest sesame seed inside a piece of cake and we didn't expect it to be there. Now add a sense of danger, add a sense of the world judges me for eating cake. And now you've got an even more ramped up sensory system. So now we're even more sensitive. So when we're working with kids who have food aversions, or if they have ARFID, or if they have trouble eating foods, the biggest thing we can do to support them to tolerate new foods is to turn those sensory systems down, to modulate it down. And we can only do that through a sense of safety.
Everything comes back to a sense of safety.
Everything comes back to a sense of safety.
We can do that at home as much as possible, but if your child is in school, likely there for 6 hours a day, is there anything you'd like to say to teachers on that safety line? Yeah, that topic.
The first thing we're going to try and figure out is, how do I help, right? And you are not for that child as a teacher, and that's okay. The child is the expert. So just start making a list with the family about what do they love and what do they not love, and then increase the things they love and turn down the things they don't love. I know it sounds ridiculously simple, because it actually is. It's tangible and it's humanness. When they're saying their socks are uncomfortable, then let them take them off. When they say that they can't eat their sandwich without eating the yogurt first, because the yogurt makes a slide for their sandwich, then let them eat their yogurt first. Don't have a sandwich first guideline in your classroom. You know?
I'm smiling because this is very familiar to me from past years. So it's not about a child wanting to be defiant and not eat healthy food. It's a safety thing.
Yeah.
How do we help people understand that?
I just wish that we would listen to the parents and the kids and what they're saying their child needs. And I just wish we believed them, because the answers are often there. They have the answers. They know what feels safe and what doesn't feel safe. So now, rather than seeing this as a deficit, see it as a sensory joy. That child receives sensory joy from opening Eater salt and vinegar chips and seeing that everything in there is just how they expected it to be. That is joy. That is sensory well-being. That is how that child feels safe with you. If you say, sorry, that's not appropriate right now, go and find a piece of fruit or eat nothing, then not only have you taken away that child's sensory joy and that child's sensory well-being, but you've just given them a really stressful time.
What you're also doing is you're saying there's something not okay with you, because I'm, as the adult, telling you that these are the good foods that you should be eating, and the child's conflicted because they're like, well, my body's telling me they're not safe, so I must be the problem.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that right? That just occurred to me, that's another layer.
It is
of
the
problem.
layer, yeah, it is. It's the message that something is wrong with them. And that's what we're trying to shift away from. We're not pathologising sensory anymore. We're just acknowledging it. We're not pathologising difference. We're not pathologising neurodivergence. We know that this is a different way of being and that there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. And I know there will be people that are really worried about nutrition, but it is a privilege to be thinking from a nutritional place. We will get there when we've got food on board and a sense of safety, and food on board in different environments. Nutrition is not step one. Safety is step one. So when your child is only on white foods, they don't need advice about how good blueberries are for them?
No. Because they can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's another thing they can't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's another thing that makes the parent feel guilty.
Yeah. Can I pick up on something you said a little earlier? That we're not pathologising sensory anymore, we're not pathologising neurodivergence. Some people still are.
Yeah. If you're a neurodivergent affirming practitioner or a teacher or a parent, whoever you are, neurodivergent affirming accountant, get out there and affirm that it is okay to be who you are. What that means these days is it's not enough to go, oh yeah, I knew an autistic kid at school, or oh yeah, that's okay to be that way. Do something about it. Take the next step. Ask the question. If somebody tells you that they are autistic or they have ADHD or their child has neurodivergence, be warm, be caring, give compassion, give empathy, but ask the question, how can I help? Can I do anything? Can I turn down the lights? Can I change the cushions? Do my clothes offend you? Take it to that level. Do what you can to make it easier. Be that person.
When you find people like this, people who really get it, it's such a gift. But the reality is, not everyone is going to understand these unique challenges. And this is hard. But Elen says it's okay. You don't need other people's approval or acceptance to give your child what they need.
My wish for parents is they feel like they've got this. And I know that that's a really big ask. And I know for most parents that's the opposite of what they feel. But actually, there's a lot to be said for follow your gut and respond to your child's emotional state. If they're crying, give them a cuddle. If they're overwhelmed, check in with them. If they don't want to wear shoes, that's okay. It just requires taking a pause, and when you are pushing your child to do something, for who? For society? Don't worry about them anymore. They're catching up. They'll get there. So follow your gut. If your gut's not quite kicked in yet because you weren't ready for this or you don't feel ready for this, then find your people. But it's okay to just hold your child close and just create safety. That is the biggest thing they need from you. That is more than enough. And it's more than we knew 10 years ago, and it was more than some of us gave our children. So for anyone raising children now, that's where we're at. Just gather your children, love them, care for them, make them feel safe.
As chaotic and as relentless as it feels, you're okay. It's the rest of the world that needs to catch up. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Next time on No Such Thing as Normal, is the focus on literacy and numeracy missing something crucial?
We are revealing aspects of the dyslexic mind to young students who have never been introduced to those attributes. And as a result, they're so hungry for positive affirmation. They're so hungry to see evidence of their efficacy.
If you like this podcast, please rate and review it. It helps others find it. No Such Thing as Normal is produced and presented by me, Sonia Gray. The editor is Jamie Lee Smith. Sarah Zwart, Bex War and Deb Frame helped with production. This series is brought to you by the New Zealand Herald and Team Uniform, and it's made with the support of New Zealand On Air. You can find us on Instagram. The handle is No Such Thing as Normal Podcast. New episodes of No Such Thing as Normal are available every Saturday, wherever you get your podcasts.